Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host from Pearl Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Crossing in the Woods. North it is Bulat, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the 7th Panzer Division, the Ghost Division with Lightning War, German Mechanized and Jaeger Infantry. In the south it is Caesar, fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin. And the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps here with Airborne Troops with airdrop weapons, paired-up heavy machine guns, airborne rally points, Guards Airborne and Sturmwick rocket runs versus Bulat's Mechanized with a command tank, 250-1.5 tracks, vehicle critical repair, spotting scopes, and the howitzer. Grenadier MD42 versus double conscripts. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patron supporters. Without them and the support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. So a big thanks for those. Also, a very big thanks to Alexander for donating and supporting the Propagandacast generously. Big thanks to Alexander, and I'm glad to hear the Propagandacast kept you going through a rough time of sickness. So glad to hear you through that. And again, thank you once more. And finally, you can also support the Propagandacast beside PayPal, which there's a link in the description, by, pre-ordering companies through the link in the comments. And using the code STUG3G, as written down there, full cap, basically. In which case I get a small part of that sale. And you can also just comment, like, share, subscribe. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's get to the action. We got sandbags in the east here, as Caesar is putting most of his effort here towards the east. Wire sandbags. Conscript Center with more sandbags on the west side here. We see the Bulat moving up steadily for the Wehrmacht with some barbed wire sandbags as well there, of course. Machine covering up here, protecting against any direct pushes there. Meanwhile, alone Grenadier Squad is heading eastwards here for Bulat, probably to probe and scout out. More barbed wire here from Caesar. Lots of barbed wire from the great barbed wire factory in Magnitogorsk. Conscripts coming up there, going to move from the north here. Going to run into those conscripts in a few moments. There we go. Spots them. Buggers off. And there you go. Straight into... Oh! That has got to be the worst timing ever. Just as he's repositioning the machine gun, then the conscripts around. It's not just one, but 2 squads there. A full 12 very ticked off, Soviet infantrymen. That has got to be some of the worst timing ever there for Bulat. So, quick retreat then, MD42. Up north here, in News Corp with the Grenadiers here, striking hard east, but his western resources there are definitely in a dire spot still. He could overwhelm Caesar east and gain the eastern fuel point instead. 3rd Grenadiers Corps here for Bulat and the German army. Constantly up and flanking the Grenadiers here, flanking up behind the Grenadiers there. West side, they're just cutting off points there, rendering neutral. Machine also being useful, so yeah. It's Bulat basically trying to take advantage of the current situation instead of attacking into Caesar's going to be dug in. Which is not something the Wehrmacht typically, at least early on, excels at, because 4-man Grenadiers just sort of, unupgraded, aren't, great at attacking into prepared positions. Like, just the 4-man's nature of them means they can very quickly bleed out and lose combat effectiveness. You're typically looking like, flank around early game as the Wehrmacht, and rely more machine guns to, do the heavier lifting in that sense. So, smart play with Bulat, just realize, okay, I messed up in the west, I'm just going to push eastwards because I know my opponent's got, a good chunk of the infantry in the west, so I can just push eastwards. So, I think that's a good tactical realization there by Bulat, and quickly, turns a bad situation into an opportunity to make progress elsewhere. Meanwhile, of course, Caesar's just grabbing points in the west unimpeded, but ultimately, that doesn't really matter because, again, had Bulat charged into that, he probably would have suffered heavier losses. And he just here. I know he's got more for Caesar. Interesting choice here. He's also only got 3 conscripts, so might indicate he's actually planning using the Guards Airborne Troops here versus Bulat. We'll have to see. The mortars on the way there. Back here, tech done. Could go for a 250 half-track here. Probably won't. Most of our players tend to shy away from it, though. I do think the 250 half-track, in particular this inventory, is actually quite solid. But that's just me, obviously. Conscript here around the centre. Medics almost down there. Grab these and pump them for 2 and the Grenadier. Got the mortar, which is definitely going to make it harder here for Bulat to defend against Caesar. Particularly on a smaller map here, we can cover more of the map with the mortar. So, Pioneers retreating back, that will be the light mechanized company into 2-2 here versus Bulat, or Caesar, most likely. Grenadiers bring up. We're not seeing any light machine guns yet here for Bulat, partly due to a shortage of munitions. Due to, again, that early push in the west there. Quick rough there. Doing some light damage, but obviously not enough. Engineers cutting the wire there. Good work. That said, Caesar will need to position, I think, here soon because the conscript on the flank here being slowly bled away here. That means the mortar's going to be exposed here. That's set. Bulat ends up just hitting the retreat, and there you go. Another disruptive play here. Cut point being hit, and with sandbags being dug in. And Bulat is just basically all over the place. He can't actually form up an effective counter-attack to deal with this. So this is actually like a pretty sharp move there by Caesar. Pretty sharp, and I imagine for Bulat, pretty damn annoying. So that basically just splits his entire, like, you know, control in half there, like map control in half. He's pushing for some fuel point, I think, realizing if Bulat's, Caesar's focusing on the center, he does have anything on the flanks here. So Bulat is trying to somehow, shall we say, turn around against Caesar, but even then, it is a bit awkward. He's going for the 2-2 here. Meanwhile, Caesar's bringing up a max machine gun to help deal with infantry. 2-2 almost done. Conscript playing on the gun east, forcing Bulat to retreat, pushing eastwards here, but there's the machine gun ready at least to catch the conscripts there, so that's something there for him. Also, he actually ends up abandoning the carve point there quite fast, so that ends up being, shall we say, a little less impactful than it could have been, arguably. But armored cars rushing forwards there. West side almost got the fuel point here. Got the mortar moving up there to flash out the Germans. So troops moving forwards there, Pioneers. The Pioneer, he could go for a Panzer Grenadier squad here. Probably won't. Could go for another machine gun. He could also go for a mortar of his own to hit back at Caesar's mortar. I don't think that'd be an entirely bad idea. I think, though, Caesar with the armoured car would be strongly incentivized towards going for a field gun here because he's not going to be pushing for like any light vehicles fast anyway, so better to have a field gun to stop the armoured car, or it could give Caesar a bit of a hard time. He does have grenades research, which will help him out, but that's about it. Getting from bad here by the Soviet mortar. Arm covers the max on the east, and close again there, some Guards airborne stuff. And more likely weapons being dropped. There we go, field gun for Caesar. This is 3 divisional field gun. There we go, first weapon drop there, the SPD-40s. Fun fact, the Soviet infantry was actually meant to be fully equipped with SPD-40s, but the war happened before they could actually produce a sufficient number of SPD-40s to equip every Soviet infantryman. So it was more like on the basis of whoever could get their hands on it. So it was much more, shall we say, here and there in terms of who actually got it. A little fun fact there. Field gun out there for Caesar. Ground the point on the west here. Pack forward ready there. Obviously concerned about a T-70 here from Caesar. Or a half-track rush. Obviously being very good reasons for getting out a Pack 40. Machine gun holding up his tail in the east, but the fuel point there and so far. But that's actually like, really turned the game around in the first, almost 10 minutes here. Down control both fields, most of the map here, again just through sharp maneuvering here, and crucially just by picking his engagement versus Caesar. That is also, I think, a very good skill to have for any player. So 2 thumbs up to Bulat here. Some, I would say, very solid Wehrmacht play here, playing around the weaknesses of the Wehrmacht infantry in the early game, and slowly just outplaying Caesar with it. So that's like some really solid stuff that I think worth learning from here. Field gun sitting up here, opening up the armored car. First shot though misses, instead hits the squirrel. That was just the way back from home, getting home from work there at the nut plant. Gotta make those nuts there. And he was just about to retire too. Tragic stuff. Gunners in knees in the center. More troops pushing up here in the east side there. Gunners caught with the maximum. That's a quick retreat there from Bulat. West side there. Conscript got the point there. And we got a mortar here from Bulat in response finally here to the Soviet stuff. He's had enough. I've had it with these Russian mortars. We will get our own Granatenwerfer. One killed in the mortar. And forward to catching the conscripts here in the east here. Engineers moving about again. Caesar, though, of course, no slouch. Other is, I think, doing a fairly good job. They're disrupting Bulat here and there, but ultimately nothing that lasts particularly long by the appearances. No tech yet either here for Caesar at this point, though. I imagine he's going to be moving straight to the Mechanized armor company because the tank of Chain Command is just, I think, going to risk being too slow versus Bulat. Pushing for that Western field point. In fact, you can see here that Bulat has also brought in a second MG42. So that's an interesting build here. Fairly heavy on support weapons, though not short in infantry either. Good hit from field gun there, straight for the frontal arm of the 222. So she could actually launch up from troops for the center because Caesar's got like very little here. So a good flank here could actually leave Caesar in a lot of trouble. Center they're going to caught with the conscript with SVT-40s and the sandbags. The east reports they're going to use to just have no chance of a head-on assault succeeding there. Tank could be checking out there for Caesar, and again he could go for like a T-70 or the SN6M, and the SN6 would probably realistically at this point be the better choice, but I think he's a bit off just trying to push for tanks of a slightly heavier tonnage than T-7. There you go, good shot from the Field Grenadiers, but there you go, conscript meanwhile suffering heavy losses from the German mortar. So Caesar is definitely in a slightly awkward spot now. Early momentum has been lost, advantage has been ceded effectively, and now Bulat is basically the one calling the shots. He does go for the T-70. That is a very bold move by Caesar. I think indicates a certain amount of, you know, tense awareness of the situation, and he's probably, I think, just betting that the T-70 could mess up things for Bulat here sufficiently before Bulat hits him like any kind of medium armor. So it's a bit of a gambit here by Caesar, to put it generously. It's a bit of a gambit. Not impossible, obviously, but if something backfires here, Caesar is going to be in some very deep bliat. Good shot from the mortar in 42. Interesting if he didn't try to barrage it, actually. I think could have gotten some more shots in there. Maybe clear out the machine gun even. Gun is caught here by the center. Still, map control very much is in the favor of Bulat here. Grab the eastern fuel point and the eastern victory point. We got a small counter-attack here with the Grenadiers, but they just, I think, not going to be sufficient here versus Caesar in the east. Caesar arriving here, putting pressure on Bulat now, and the 7th Panzer Division here. The old's got some mines here spotted. No guards there, but you kind of figure, like, you know, with 3 conscripts like this, he'd go for a guards airborne squad, but so far Caesar hadn't gone for it. I do think he'd benefit from some more elite infantry equipped with submachine guns to put pressure on Bulat, honestly. I'm guessing Caesar's not quite thinking in the same lines. Almost got the German machine gun here with the Serb mortar. Veterans on that one by 1 kill though. Close call there. Very close call. But he's flooding a fair bit of manpower. I'm guessing Caesar is probably trying to like get a clear idea of the situation before committing anything further. Or he's debating with himself like, does he go for elite troops or some more support weapons? Meanwhile, Bulat with the support core here. And that 7th thing's going to get tougher for Caesar. Not impossible, but certainly tougher. Sandbags up here on the ridge. Very good on the west side. That's now where Caesar's focusing the main push here. Infantry forts backed up with the field gun. Also holding in the T-70 and the mortar there to provide further assistance for the western prong here. Against Bulat's western fuel point here. Caesar now looks like he's going to be one poised to gain both fuel points over his opponent. Field gun, I think, is going to have to like bombard the machine on the foot, gets cleared out. East side, he maximum caught with the Grenadiers on the flank, forcing retreat here, and thus risking easily sinking the eastern territories there. Mortar moving up here, counter routed. Field gun also backing off there. I'm surprised they didn't just start barraging there with the field gun. Though I suppose the lack of munitions could arguably explain that one. Command tank brief considerable up, instead goes to the regular Panzer IV. And meanwhile, Caesar unknowingly places his mortar within easy range of the German mortars, offering quite a bit of damage there. As at those ranges, the German mortar is going to have to like try really hard to miss. Still, he's got the western fuel point, but okay, there we go. Guards airborne popping out here. Ambushing the Grenadiers from an angle they were clearly not expecting, but ends up retreating as there's just clearly too many Grenadiers, plus the M42 team here. Forcing retreat, we got the maximum up here. Counter squad somehow narrowly surviving all of that. These need repairs, and the Guards airborne I think would benefit from some submachine guns, but more likely he's just going to go for the triple DP light machine gun upgrade. East side here pushing for the fuel point there, Grand Northern Point. Sending up those Guards airborne again. On the west side here we got armor coming up, backed up by Pioneers and the Pack. Skirmishing here looks like more about the task to stolen by Town on the west more than a serious attempt to like defend the fuel point from the Germans. Now caught here with M42, mortar moving up, got Veteran 2 on it. T-70 is almost fixed up. Troops heading out as well here from Caesar's base. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the triple DP light machine upgrade there on his Guards airborne. Another field gun for Caesar, obviously where he's going to be in the shooting engines from tanks. In fact, we all got the Panther 4 that hit a mine. Apparently, Bulat had not seen a mine though when he got shown to him by one of his minesweeper chaps. What do you mean you forgot about the mine? It's a bloody verdammt mine! Mein Gott. Guards move for the punies pushed off, get the fuel point out of their hands again. East up there, teasing going for the gun, backed up on the knees, forcing here. Bulat to abandon the east of the fuel point. There you go, successful push in the west as well here. Bulat seems to have lost a bit of ground here and there. I think overall he might have extended a bit too much here versus Caesar right now, and Caesar seems to be doing, I think, a fairly good job in exploiting in this. More to push back by the conscripts. We got the guards airborne there, which is currently the victory point. So yeah, with the T-70 and some infantry, Caesar is slow to turn the game around despite everything. Partly again that mine there basically prevented the Panther from joining the fight. Obviously turned out to be a really good investment there for Caesar, buying him some very crucial time. In fact, we got the 2 field guns now ready here to stop the Panther 4. There we go, double volley, Panther 4 down to half health. Quite an explosive development there in the center gun is for the T-70. And there you go, grenade off the grenadiers as well. He trying to bait them into retreat, but Bulat stays calm. He does not retreat when it unnecessary. That said, with the cover gone, they need to retreat. In fact, it might now be too late here for Bulat, unless he gets very lucky, which, you know, happens. But with only 4-man squads, typically your luck is much more limited, as you can see there. Another gun squad to replace the one. No Panzer Grenadier, unfortunately. In east side here, we've got machine gun grenadiers pushing again here. Still, Caesar's got massive map control right now. Should definitely think push for that mechanized and company in now versus Bulat. Like, the fast thing is you start churning out those tanks here versus Bulat, the better for him. As for Bulat, command tank I think will still be a good addition here versus Caesar. But honestly, more Panther forces and Stoogs would also think... Well, he doesn't, I think, critically need the Stoogs, but, you know, they could still be a handy addition. But I think a command tank and some regular Panther forces right now would serve Bulat a bit more immediately in the short term. There you go. Spotting scopes there for Bulat's armoured car. Caesar there, definitely stabilising the situation here. This is, I think, partly aided by the map basically being a series of large lanes, but ultimately a bit lane-based, making it easy to just lock down parts of the map here. Good shot there on the T-70. Mechanized summer company for Caesar. The armored car moving in, virtually 2 gain there as it slaughters unsuspecting Soviet mortar crewmen. Bring in more engineers as well. I think that's a shot with it. But Caesar's also very close to the T-34-76. Though, of course, I'd say with a map like this, he is very incentivized to also going for Katyusha as soon as possible to just blast holes in Bulat's line. So I would not be surprised if Caesar actually went for the Katyusha first, but likely a T-34 into Katyusha. Two kills on the mortar. Still, Caesar's controlling both fuel points. Still, Bulat hasn't been quite as eager to recapture them now. This, of course, is great for Caesar, but could also hurt Bulat there. So I definitely think it's something he needs to like rectify soon. In particular, like the western fuel point is currently wide open. So this is a bit interesting. He hasn't actually bothered capturing it. Machine Center catching. Oh, a massive force here by Caesar. That is a full 3 squads just sent packing. It's great there for Bulat. Amazing even. Pioneers and Easters do get the T-34-76 there for Caesar and the Red Army. Command tank there for Bulat. Befehls Panzerkampfwagen 4. Shot fired there. Eastern point grab with the Pioneers. Reinforcing healing. Grenadiers right there. Panther forming up through the east side. Being cut off there, Caesar from his western fuel point. He's also grabbing it now, and he's also grabbing the eastern fuel point. So, Bulat there definitely now looking to turn the fuel game back in his side here in favour. Straight to the base of the Panther 4. Bulat is fearless. And the command tank is right around the corner for Bulat. It is almost ready. Like following force machines sitting up here as well. East side there, troops loading forward. We've got the guards airborne now with a triple DP light machine guns. Fairly certain though, most squads would never carry 3 light machine guns at least. Not officially. I mean, in theory, of course, they could have just captured a bunch from like dead troops and use them as well. I mean, it wasn't uncommon, like, some troops yourselves say over augment their squad's firepower, but on paper, I'm fairly certain like even the guards airborne would not have been equipped like 3 light machine guns like that. You have to yourselves say unofficially nap them, which in theory, you can't really prove or disprove in a sense, but it could have happened. I mean, particularly elite troops had a tendency of like just grabbing whatever they could get their hands on. But some German Fallschirmjägers would, had their fought against the British, would, basically just grab as many Sten guns as they could, as apparently they really liked it. And was no comfort zone for the Waffen SS when fighting against the Soviets to actually just grab S-50-40s and Soviet light machine guns to just further augment their own firepower. So, you could definitely make an argument for it could happen off paper. But anyways, enough about that. Come on, and they're pushing forwards here. The Feds Panzerkampfwagen 4, bombarding engineers. Good shot there from the field gun, right for the frontal armor. More to fire here. Map definitely seeing some pretty big swings here between Bulat and Caesar. Hard push into the west here, caught with info there. Go bombardment here from the field gun. This is 3. Straight to pack forward center with a T-70 here. Got mortars there as well, providing covering fire here. And there we go. Guards able to charge forward to the tank into the pack crew here, almost wiping it out. There we go. Command tank is going to, I think, make it a little Bulat to seize it, but if he's got field guns nearby, it's certainly not going to be impossible either. May, of course, also just destroy the Pack 40, which isn't an entirely bad idea. But, I mean, it's better than sending his opponent getting it back, so love to see what Caesar does here. And there you go, field correct, got wiped by a nice flanking grenadier squad here. Thumbs up to Bulat. Forcing the guards to now focus on that here, and also expend them on crewing the field gun up. In fact, this actually is a bit of a mistake here, possibly misclick, but the problem is, without removing the grenadiers, the guards airborne are just going to die anyway. So this is a waste of manpower here by Caesar. This is just doubly good there for Bulat. In fact, now he can destroy the field gun there. That is a sudden and very uncomfortable reversal here for Caesar. Of course, now to put more effort into stabilize the situation here. And there you go, the field gun is gone, destroyed, shattered, no more. That is an ex-Cis gun. In contrast to that, which is an Axis gun. Going straight in for the T-711 kills here. T-Fed opening up. Engineers taking losses. He's about to lose both field guns in a matter of moments. That is quite painful here for Caesar and excellent for Bulat. Absolutely astounding here. Definitely put some intense pressure on Caesar now. He's about to lose his T-34-6 as well. The situation is going absolutely just pear-shaped here for Caesar and the Red Army. He's going to need to, I think, do something drastic here to change the situation on the ground, because right now it is overwhelmingly, I think, favouring Bulat right now with more forces and tank guns. The only advantage he actually, I think, has and could leverage is actually the infantry advantage, because Bulat constantly suffers full wipes here. Meanwhile, Caesar still has a total of 4 squads for infantry. So on that level, there's still a chance, I think, for Caesar to turn the game around if he plays his cards smartly. But it does require, I think, some realization of the current situation vis-a-vis infantry and the foresight to then leverage it. And certainly Bulat won't make it easy, in particular with the command tank. He can definitely help shut down some of Caesar's infantry pretty quickly thanks to his high explosive shells. West side there, point being grabbed with M42. Picks up the armored car. T-34 being fixed up, conscious machine on the move here. Caesar's gonna, have to get pretty creative, I think, here versus Bulat, or Bulat needs to, commit, I think, pretty grievous mistake. So we'll have to see which of the two it ends up with. Or if we end up with, a third option. Can't rule that out either. And there you go, more T-34 6s. So just bringing more tanks to the field, I think, is a very helpful move here. I think for Caesar right now, he just needs more firepower. And the T-34-6 is definitely one of the better solutions for just getting more firepower. Between the center of the T-7 for some reason racing in there, getting blocked off with the command tank armor and trying to deal with it. And east side here, quickly routed, engineers they're sent packing. West side, that is clearly where Caesar's putting the main thrust here, but without the field guns, additional tanks, he's a bit undergunned here in the west versus that single Panther 4. We can see he's trying to take out the Panther 4 here with the infantry and the T-34 combo, but it's not quite working out for him. Instead, the conflict just getting let out. Here's the T-34-6 now moves towards the center. Second T-34-7 for Caesar. T-34 is the command tank, east side there. T-7 with the Panther fast there through the engine block. And the command tank here is in a bit of a top spot there versus Caesar's T-34. Could take it out here. But looks like that won't happen. The west side here, Maximus the command of the Panther 4 here, which now has shields added. Its side skirts. Pushing eastwards, which Bulat has now actually completely abandoned. T-34 rushing westwards. Gonna need all the armor support here, I think. Pack 40 setting up there. Consul's not in a position to stop them. There's no other troops nearby as well either. Good shot from the T-34 right through the side armor. Trying to send the country with the Pack 40. There we go. Another great shot here. The situation there for Caesar is looking a bit prickly. And the infantry machine being pushed back here as Bulat remains pretty firmly dug in. But there you go. T-7 with a pretty aggressive T-7 flank here, leaving the Pack 40 also exposed. But without, I think, further elements of support that may not quite amount to as much as Caesar would like to. Still, he's managed to stop the bleeding right now. Victory points here from Bulat, but he needs to do a lot more. He needs to do it fast. But yeah, I think some flanking attacks basically going through here around Bulat center I think could be a good idea. Could threaten to unravel the situation as well there. Then these one to have the knees by the T-34 T-70 combo. Almost got the Gundish, but in fact that would have been the last Gundish would have Bulat there. Meaning Bulat would have then had no infantry. That would have been fairly powerful there. And looks like he's going to try for it. There we go, almost got it. T-34 from the mortar, armor calls on top of the good shot from the Pack 40, the Ace T-78 main gun out. T-34 rolling in here, taking hits here. Outmaneuvering the Pack 40, the T-78 goes up in flames. T-34 though gets a great shot on the Pack 40 here, and it's vetted too, but it's also close to death. Other T-34 guards everyone moving in here. Pack's about to get completely hosed. Excellent work there. Max can pull up. The mortar crew's actually in a danger spot as well there. Command tank with the damaged engine. The situation is actually turning pretty sideways here for Bulat. Not ready for this clearly. Caesar has launched a pretty successful assault here. Again, the T-34 T-70 flank here definitely I think proved crucial. And you know, again, highlights the need for maneuver instead of just attacking straight through up your opponent's gun lines. So thumbs up here to Caesar. That's it. Yeah, straight into the Pack 40 there. Flank did not work out. He's got the mortar on the scene to assist. Trying to take out the command tank here. T-34 with a damaged engine. Mortar needs to get up here and start bombarding around here. I think almost got the command tank here, but no, it gets away here. No, he does get it. He does get it with a pilfered Pack 40. An excellent kill here for Caesar on the Red Army. MG42 men pinned down by the Maximus guns on the flank here. T-34 doing what he can. West side here, constant push back there as Bulat keeps hitting back. He's going for the command tank, and we got a second Guards Airborne squad here. Caesar going for more lead infantry just to launch a flank here on the Pack machine gun position here, fearlessly charging them in here for the glory of the Red Army and the Soviet peoples. And there we go. Got the Pack 40 crew there wiped. Removing an integral part here of Bulat's defenses. The Guards Airborne are taking a hell of a beating here from the Panther 4 moving in. Need to retreat them now. And he lost immediately. That's definitely not worth it there for Caesar. Clearly a lot going on then. It might be making it difficult for Caesar to maintain control of everything, but that was definitely way too painful of loss there, I think, for Caesar. Much too painful. Still, he's hitting Bulat where it hurts, so there's still a shot here, I think, here for Caesar. Still a shot, but he can't really afford those kind of losses. It's just much too expensive. Like, just 360 manpower at the drain like that is not sustainable. Pack 40 here gaining target weak point. T-34 moving up. Guards airborne, cutting westwards. T-34 going for the command tank in the east. Shoots, misses. 24 versus 54. Situation for Caesar is definitely tight in a lot of respects. But there you go, catches the Pack 40 again. If you can wipe and Caesar, that'd be great there for Caesar. But it looks like he falls a bit short on that. We're going before to catch the guards airborne there. Reinforcement healing here. Need to get that Pack 40 in good working order. T-34 almost fixed up here. Going westwards here. Shot bounce off the command tank over the T-34 from the 6th frontal armor. Not too surprising. Eastman probably grabbed here as well. And there's just so much pressure going on here. We got the T-34 place with MD-42 in the center second. T-34 routes as well here for Caesar. Going straight for the MD-42 in the center. He could wipe it out though. He should actually turn the T-34s around towards the front. There's the machine guns on the hull. Can actually fire it. Now that we actually see a wipe in Caesar now. Losses are piling up here for the Red Army. What will he do next, and what will Bulat do next? He's actually researched Tier 4, but so far hasn't had time to like do anything with it. He's been caught with the T-34s from 6, routing them, going for that victory point, pushing back the Gundis here. Could use the T-34 to grab the victory point. I think that may actually end up being necessary here for Caesar. And on the west here, Panther 4 spearheads a pretty isolated effort there to rout Caesar's mortar crew there. Ace level, by the way. Excellent work there. And there, almost got a Gunnery squad wiped again. There we go. I mean, Bulat's infantry's like suffered pretty heavy wipes. I mean, he's lost like a lot of units in terms of infantry. But crucially, he's at least replacing it. Command tank almost being knocked up. The Pack 40 is providing excellent support. Fine, there you go. Took out the veteran T-34s from 6. Quite a blow here to Caesar. Definitely at that spot of the match there where he can't really afford those kind of losses. He's just not sustainable here for Caesar and the Red Army. Grab the infantry, but about to get knocked out with the Panther. There you go, great shot from the Pack and splashes up poor Friedrich, who's actually busy repairing there. Pack being hit here by the German mortar, the Granadenwerfer. He's actually managed to stabilize victory points, is now bleeding out Bulat once more. He can go for another T-34. He of course may also be considering like something like this. Fire machine rush straight into the guards airborne. That must have been a misclick there with Bulat. He's going for another Panther 4 here. Infantry wise, the Bulat is still really short-handed. He's also starting to lose support weapons though. Caesar might still have a chance here. Might still have a chance, though there's definitely, I think, a very low margin of error now available here for Caesar. We've got mines going down as well, they're very good. Panther almost done. Now the T-34 from 6 for Caesar and the Red Army. In the west side, the Panther crew charges in there with a Panzerkampfwagen. 46 kills by the way on that one. 46 kills. That has been an absolute just champion of the Third Reich here. So do you think we'll get a medal after this, officers? You'll be lucky if you don't get shot as war criminals after the war after this. Well, that means we did something right, didn't it? I like your optimism, Jürgen. I like your optimism. And Bulat is actually going for a second mortar here. Interesting choice there, by the way. It could be a misclick. But it's also, I mean, it's right next to like the Grenadiers there. So like, it could have been a misclick there by Bulat, but it might also be just in a sign that he's planning. Panther diving up behind the Pack 40 gets a good shot in there. Sorry about that. Pack pushing back the Panther 4 here. Neat ace on that one, by the way. There you go, command tank going straight for the guards airborne, backed up by the A-74 we got the mortars at it. Going full artillery here on Caesar here. Good shot from the Pack 4 in the command tank. Panther 4 flanking up here on the T-34 from 6, flanking the Pack and the mortar. An excellent kill there. 52 kills, 53 kills on the Panther 4. It is near ace level. Mortar fire there wipes Caesar's mortar crew. Got the Pack 40 as well. The ace level Panther 4 with 54 kills in service of Deutschland. T-Fed force in hot pursuit here. East side, we got the Panther 4 number 2 brushing the machine position in the center, now being pushed up as well there. As Caesar puts all attention to the Panther 4. It's basically a massive armored red herring here as Bulat just pulls off a sneaky heist here on the victory points to bleed out Caesar before Caesar can realize what's going on here.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Countryman West was there. T-Fed force from 6 there.
We have been reduced to 25 points. Failure is not rewarded.
Guards able to charge up from the to the east end before you try and grab the point here, but it may just not be enough here. Going for the western victory point here, we got 237 versus 21. 20. Battle is hanging in the balance here. And Caesar's unfortunately, I think, falling back in the same pattern that sort of got him to the mess in the first place. That is like, you know, he's just attacking his opponent head on there, right into the German guns. He's not trying to outflank here or strike with something any sort of more sophistication. There you go, lost one of his remaining T-34s. Meanwhile, Bulat still has a total of 3 tanks in the field, including, of course, the Ace Panzer IV there. At this point, Caesar may in fact just have lost the match. I mean, he's still got 18 points left. He's managed to sort of stop the bleed, but tactically, again, he's just, I think, not quite cutting it. I could be wrong here. Could be wrong. MB42 versus MB42 in the center here. 55 kills on that Panzer IV. East side here, got the Panther forming up and gigging the machine crew there. Straight into the Pack 40 here. Maximum there getting blasted into oblivion, into fine chunks of matter. Pixelated matter it is. 12 points left. 10. I think this is probably GG now. Caesar just doesn't think the resources to, like, you know, rush those points in time. 6. 3. Yeah. So that's definitely GG here for Caesar. The game is over. So there you go. A fierce fight here was a nice back and forth action, but I also think just a good highlight of the power maneuvering and knowing when to, like, you know, try and look for another angle of attack here. Definitely helped a lot in the early game. It was also one of the things that Caesar turned the game around there close to sort of the midpoint there, like, and he was in trouble, but then he actually launched an attack from an angle Bulat wasn't expecting, and boom, sudden success, you know. If nothing else, you know, remember, there's always another way to attack rather than straight into every single gun the opponent has. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. Consider donating or pledging on Patreon as well. This is Imperial Link saying cheers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.